Hello and welcome back to another video on TGM Guitars. We'll start the video off how I always start them off, saying thank you to everyone who's shown support to the channel. I know once again I've not been uploading very frequently. There's always an excuse for it, whether it's gigs or getting back to uni or stuff like that. But yeah, I think I'll just commit now to uploading every now and then when I get the free time or something interesting, because I don't always have interesting stuff to post on here. So I'd rather just kind of leave the channel to get a few views on some of the other videos than just post needless kind of waffling content. With that said, if you do enjoy this video, if it helped you in any way, then please be sure to subscribe, comment, like the video, and yeah, just help this channel grow. So without further ado, let's jump into the topic of this video. Today we're going to carry on going through some of the pedals that I've got in my collection. I know some of them are discontinued, but you can pick them up here and there on Reverb, eBay, occasionally showing up on Facebook Marketplace. And today we're taking a look at the Donner Boost Killer. So if you're unfamiliar with Donner, I've featured a few of their pedals on here before. They're basically a Chinese cheap brand that make copies of other pedals and sell them on Amazon. You can pick them up on eBay as well. Now, I noticed the Boost Killer is out of stock on their website and I can't find it on Amazon, but I think they share their manufacturing with other companies, so you can see this kind of layout, which I believe is a copy of the exotic RC booster. I might be incorrect there, but from what I can tell online, that's what this is. So today we're going to take a look at that. I picked this up for £20 a couple of years ago when I needed a boost pedal. It's kind of become a bit obsolete and I don't use it on my pedal board anymore. Most of my boost comes from the tube screamer, but what we're going to do is just chuck this through an amp and give you some sounds with humbuckers, single coils, and just have a play about. So as you can see on the front here, we've got 4 main controls. Try and get it to the actual lights on it, that'd be good. So your big middle control here is your gain. You've then got a volume, a treble and a bass. So you've got a bit of a shapeable EQ, unlike most boost pedals. There's quite a lot of clean boosts out there that are just turning up and off you go. So that allows it to be a bit more versatile, get you to cut through the mix a bit more, especially if you're using this as a solo boost. So today we're going to chuck this through my Bulgarian 1960 Infinium and just have a play about with it. So yeah, let's jump over to some playing. Okay, so I've had a quick look on Amazon, and although they don't seem to have the Donner version of this pedal on there anymore, they have similar pedals from Amusic, Vivlex, pretty much Chinese pedal brands that are copying that RC booster kind of thing. Mooer even do one themselves called a Pure Boost, but they are still available at £25. Whether or not it's exactly the same circuit, I'm not entirely sure, but it appears to be that way. So using my Gretsch, bit of difference. I know I've used the PRS quite a lot, the Les Paul quite a lot, so for my humbucker tones I thought I'd go with the Gretsch. Into the Boost Killer, which is then going into my pedal board, literally only using the pedal board for the tuner, because I don't have another one on me and I've lost my clip-on one, otherwise I'd use that. From there we're going into the Bulgarian 1960 Infinium, into the 2 Notes Torpedo Captor X, running a Madsen 1969 cabinet, which is a Marshall 1960 vintage style cabinet. And from there it's coming to you guys. Got reverb running in the torpedo, and I've gone for a kind of crunch sound, so I'm definitely not going to call it clean, that's for sure, but this is a bass sound that we're working on, and I'm kind of going for what you'd use this pedal for, maybe to push your amp to the next level or to set up a nice kind of rhythm tone and then kick it up when you're soloing. So without the pedal engaged, this is what we're working with. So, as I said, it's a crunchy sound, something that you'd use for maybe a rhythm, especially with this kind of guitar. And what I'm going to do, as you can see, I've got everything at 12 o'clock or thereabouts, and what I'm going to do is drop the gain all the way down and bring that in. So, kick that on. It's pretty much at unity, if not cutting a little bit. So, as we start to roll that gain in, As you can tell, it's a very subtle kind of, it's not really doing anything at the moment, but when we start to push that gain further up, so we'll go 12 o'clock. And you can tell it's really starting to thicken the sound now. So if you wanted to use it more as a traditional boost, then what you'd do is probably chuck the volume up more than the gain. So we'll put the volume all the way up there. So I'm pushing this out of frame. Click that off. Again, that's what we're working with. Kick that on, fattens it, pushes it up a notch on the gain. You can tell it's clipping a little bit there, so what you might want to do is chuck that down. Let's put the gain up a little bit more. So it's getting a little bit woolly for my liking. So again, up to, hear it getting a little bit mushy. So mushy? What even is that word? But on the neck pickup. Makes it sound like the amp's trying to cave in a little bit. So I'm going to push that back and maybe dial the bass back a little bit. This is the good thing with this kind of pedal. You have got an interactive EQ there, so. So already that's a little bit better, just cutting that bass. If we chuck the treble up a little bit more. Now we seem to be cooking. That's the kind of thing that you need to cut through at a gig, just with a little bit of tweaking from that treble. So, I mean, it's quite a good pedal for that. Kind of taking your standard rhythm up to your... It's not an over-the-top solo sound. You'd probably get more out of using an actual overdrive pedal. But for all intents and purposes, you're not meant to use a boost for that kind of stuff. So backing that volume back down to 12 o'clock, hopefully the amp isn't caving in on itself as much as it was. That's a lot better. Gain all the way up. Let's see what this does. It's clipping a bit too much for my liking, so I think where this sits best is kind of a little bit of a volume boost. I'm going to retune because I just realised that's gone out of tune quite quickly. Okay, so that's better now. Back in tune. See, I'm quite impressed with how thick that sounds. I mean, I'll probably have to try, well, I did actually try this back through my Vox, but it kind of got edged out for the kind of higher gain pedals. And I mean, it's a good pedal. I bought it because I was having issues being heard when I was doing solos live, and to be honest, it didn't really fix that. Mainly because it's just compressing the amp so much, and you can hear that. It's got quite a potent output on there. I mean, that sounds pretty good to my ears through these speakers. Don't know what it sounds like to you guys, but that's quite a, to be honest, that's almost somewhere in between where you'd put the Tube Screamer or another overdrive to kick it into a soaring lead sound. This is almost sort of the pushed rhythm sound, or if you're sort of lead playing rhythm, so to speak. So, I mean, it sounds really chunky on those chords. So yeah, I mean, that is quite a thick sound that gives it. Reminder once again, and I keep doing this, what it sounds like originally. So that's just the Bugera. What I'm going to do now is just do a quick sweep of the tone controls. So that's bass all the way out, bass all the way up, way too much. Treble, doesn't sound too bad with a treble all the way out, all the way up. So that's quite usable. Not quite as insane as a treble booster, but yes, that's actually quite usable. Kind of lets you tame the flubbiness of whatever amp you're using. I mean, this will be one of those pedals that sounds completely different through different amps. To be honest, every pedal does. But quite like it there. I mean, it's that thick kind of pushed amp sound, isn't it? So what I'm going to do now is get rid of this, swap over to something with single coils, probably going to use a Telecaster, and see what it does with that. So here we are. Telecaster is typical Telecaster single coils. This is a Mexico standard from this year, my most recent guitar purchase, and I've left the settings the same on the pedal, same on the amp. It's the same amp, so this is what it sounds like. First of all, pedal off. Quite a punchy kind of Telecaster sound, so we're probably going to have to adjust that EQ, which is a good thing. You have that available to you without touching the amp. So if you're swapping guitars during a gig, this could be what sort of tames it a little bit. Pedal on. So yeah, way too treble heavy, as a Telecaster should be. Let's be perfectly honest. So adjusted that, put the bass up a little bit, treble down just a hair, and now we've got something a lot thicker and a lot more usable. So I'm going to actually bit more gain because we're lower output, and yeah, you've got a nice thick. Now, probably not a lead sound, mainly because of single coils. I reckon probably, if I was using this and using that to push me more into the lead territory, I'd probably mess with the amp settings a little bit more, but see what we can achieve with a bit more gain. Well, all the gain, why not? Bit more volume. This episode is brought to you by the Key of A. But yeah, I mean, that's still not pushing it as far into the lead territory. You probably would need, with single coils, you'd probably need something in front of this. Now, the way I've got it set up means that it would be going through a tube screamer or through the clon and not necessarily pushing the amp after we've put the clon through it. So I'm not going to demonstrate that today. Maybe I'll do a video in the future on how you can use pedals stacked, but yeah, that's what its pedal sounds like. I mean, it's quite good for use. Again, going back to that original sound. Didn't try it with the neck on here. And the other thing that's not coming across here, because I'm going through the Captor X and stuff like that, is the volume boost that you would get if you were using this in real life. So just bear that in mind. And you can tell it's a nice thickener. With those settings, I mean, they're pretty, the gain's a little bit too extreme. I would never use this kind of pedal with that much gain on it. I'd probably use one of my drive pedals instead. I think more representative was what I used with the Gretsch, but overall it's a good sounding pedal for 24 quid. If you need that kind of thing on your board, then it's a good thing to use. But I think that's enough playing, enough of me rambling on and playing really bad pentatonic licks in the key of A. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So there we have it. So that is the Boost Killer by Donner. As I said, there's other brands that make it. You can't actually get the Donner version on Amazon anymore, but any real RC Booster clone, I mean, Mua make one. And yeah, it's a good sounding boost pedal. It's nice having that control there. I know a lot of them, if you're talking like the Keeley Katana or what's the one that's made by TT Electronic, the Spark, unless you buy the bigger version. If you buy the mini version, you haven't got the adjustable EQs, which is quite nice and gives you a lot of freedom to, as you could hear, I could fatten up the Telecaster. I could make the Gretsch push through a little bit more and take away some of that flubbiness that you get with a hollow body like that. So it's nice having that there. Again, I wouldn't use this how you saw me use it with the Telecaster, trying to whack the gain right up. I'd use it to push an amplifier or push a gain pedal to the next stage, probably after it, and maybe that's something I will explore in the future. But have a look on YouTube of how other people use these types of pedals and you will see possibilities are nearly endless. Not completely, but they are a good kind of pedal to have in your arsenal. I don't use it, admittedly, on my pedal board. I used it for a brief period of time, just for solo stuff. And I think I actually had it running through the effects loop. So what I'd have it doing was taking that core sound and just making it louder, because when you're running with a classic style amp, let's call it that, the Infinium or Plexi style, it's hard sometimes to be heard during solos without everything just compressing and it just becoming a mess that's not coming through. So that allowed me to kind of punch above and kind of tweak things a little bit. But I think that's enough rambling. Good pedal for 24 quid. If you want to pick it up and play with it, then it's definitely something I would recommend. I'll leave some links down below to the other variants that are available on Amazon now. Or if you come across a Donner one, second hand, I should imagine these are selling for peanuts, as soon as they're 25 quid new. So yeah, it's enough of me waffling on. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and currently aiming towards the 500 subscriber target. Be quite good to get there. Not sure what the next video will be. Maybe I'll mix it up and do something a bit more informative rather than a review style video. And I hope you enjoy this kind of way of me doing the reviews. It's been like it all throughout my channel. I just play with stuff, just tweak a few settings here and there, see how it sounds. It's more, as I like to call it, exploring the tone. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.